Because you need to understand that half of the people on this planet, 50% of all people alive, are females. So that woman you think is so special, that one you really want, she's so special, she ain't special, bro. She ain't special. Get that shit out your head straight away. Because the more special you think she is, the more you're gonna fuck up when you're talking to her. She ain't special. She takes a shit in the morning like everyone else. She's a fucking human organism. Who cares? There's girls prettier than her around. Maybe you ain't got their phone numbers, but they exist. So you gotta go out and get them. So don't be trying too hard. Now, the reason I get away with such little work is because I put such a high price tag on myself. I am a 4-time kickboxing world champion multimillionaire. So even any female, no matter how beautiful, knows I'm never going to be the guy hitting her up constantly. I'm not going to be the guy she can call and I'll always answer. I'm not going to be the dude who will give her lifts to work. She knows I got shit going on. Remember what I was saying earlier to you about how I've never struggled with females because I never focused on the females. These other game books and Roosh and all these idiots. This is the woman, get the woman, get the woman. Forget the bitch, forget her, forget all the chicks. Worry about yourself, get yourself straight. And when your own shit's straight, got yourself together, females are an added bonus. It's much easier to focus on yourself and get yourself high level and then start getting females than it is to forget about yourself. Spend all your time day game running around the mall, doing 1,000 approaches, trying to pick up a real fucking slut who will bang anyone and getting laid. Fuck that garbage. All the game you've read before is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit, and you're going to see why it's bullshit in one of the upcoming videos about how to keep hot girls, especially. You're going to see why it's bullshit. But it's bullshit because if you go up to 1,000 girls, you get 5 phone numbers and one might fuck you. Yeah, I'm sure that's absolutely true, but so? You're going to spend your life, instead of becoming rich, instead of becoming strong, instead of becoming smart, you're just going to fucking run around a mall, approaching girls, day game? It's bullshit. It's garbage. It's for children. All that shit is for children. I focused on myself. And that's how I've managed to attain the highest quality females. And also not attain, retain, which is another thing we're going to do in a separate video, because retaining females is completely different to obtaining females. So we're talking about the factors that you cannot control in terms of females. We talked about the timing, how some stores are closed. We talked about how you have to make her like you more than the other guys. And sometimes that's difficult, because let me tell you something. She might be talking to a real G. If she's talking to me, you're going to struggle to make her like you more. That's true. I have more tangible assets, more physical, financial, and mental assets. Plus, I know the game. Sometimes you're outclassed. That's how it goes. Sometimes you're just outclassed. That's how it goes. That's another thing you can't really control. But what you can control in those situations is that you don't make her lose respect for you and don't kill your chance for the future by being a little begging for attention bullshit. Keep your honor about you. Because if you're going to lose the game, there's 2 ways to lose it. With honor and without honor. You're going to lose. As soon as you sense you're going to lose, as soon as you detect, this girl, I'm not going to get her, then you can either lose her by begging, hoping for that little tiny chance and losing all your respect, or just thinking, you know what, I'm going to try again in 8 months. Fuck this bitch. I'll get someone else. So we all know what the correct decision is. Don't be fucking so desperate for a girl that you just lose all your honor and self-respect. Because then you're never going to get her. Ever. And that's some real dumb shit. So I want you to understand when we start talking about women, there's a whole bunch of factors you cannot control. So when it comes to approaching hot girls, you have to understand this. Some are open for business, some are closed for business. Next, what can you do? Besides the factors that you cannot control, what are the factors you can control? Well, body language is one of them, obviously. Clothes, we've discussed all this. But really, when it comes to approaching females, game as a whole is something I don't like. I don't like the idea of it because it's bullshit. It really is bullshit. I cannot sit here and tell you how to act. Even if I told you to have the exact same mannerisms as me and say the exact same things I would say, they work for me, but they will not work for you because we're individuals. We're absolutely individuals. For the same reason when you learn to fight, you learn the basics of it. But if I were to say, mimic my movements millimeter for millimeter, I won't get hit and you will get hit because we're different bodies. It's just we're different people. So I can't sit here and say, do this, do this, do this. Anyone who tries to tell you that, what they're doing is they're trying to oversimplify an extremely complicated situation in an attempt to get paid. Because every single female you approach is going to be different. Every single scenario you're in is going to be different. Every restaurant you sit in is going to be different. You're different to me. The mood she's in is going to be different. The weather is going to be fucking different. Maybe it's raining, maybe it's sunny. Everything has a small part to play. So for me to sit here and say, if you do this, and then you do this, and then you do this, you're gonna get laid, is the kind of bullshit people package up, trying to make it a complicated situation seem simple to get money. Getting laid is not simple. The only thing you can do if you want to retain, especially in a future video, retain as well as obtain hot women, is be yourself. You cannot project and act for any considerable period of time. That's not possible. The only way you can be anything for a considerable period of time is to be yourself. So maybe you're a shit person. Yeah, fine, maybe. But you have to absolutely and utterly be yourself. Now, there are some things which are ironclad beneficial when it comes to getting females. You can be yourself and be a confident version of yourself as opposed to a meek version of yourself. Confidence is always attractive because men were built to lead. Like we said earlier, men were built for combat. So confidence is something you need. Everyone already knows this shit. And confidence doesn't have to be sitting there and bragging. Confidence is little things. When you pick the girl up, where are we going? I know where we're going. Not where do you want to go? She doesn't want to hear that shit. She doesn't want to make decisions. Females don't want to think. They want to be led down a rabbit hole of entertainment. They want to be entertained. They don't want to think. They don't want to sit there and have to think about it. They'll say, yeah, we're going here. Even if you get there and it's shit, because I don't like it here, say, yeah, well, I do. Stick to your fucking guns. So confidence is obviously the first thing, but you know that shit already. Just be confident about who you are and what you say. Doesn't mean you have to be an asshole. You have to not be an asshole. In fact, a lot of people confuse the two. A lot of people go, girls like assholes. No, girls like confidence. But nowadays, only assholes have confidence. If you're the rare, select guy who's not an asshole and also supremely confident, you're definitely gonna fuck. You haven't got to be an asshole. It's the confidence they're attracted to, not the asshole qualities. So yeah, you absolutely have to be yourself. You have to be a confident version of yourself. Well, we've already talked about this in lesson 1. Believe you can do anything. You're about to go on a date with Megan Fox. Are you intimidated? No. Because you're the fucking man. And you're gonna fuck her same night after taking her to the worst restaurant in town. Because you can do anything. Because you're a fucking G. That's how I think. I don't even brush my hair. I don't even shave. I rock up in fucking clothes and wear them for 2 days. I don't give a fuck. Turn up, hi. Start talking shit before you know she's naked. Because I know my skills. I know I'm the G. You know you're the G. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You can be yourself and you can be a completely different person to me, personality-wise, and still be a G. You can say completely different things and still be successful. You can have different mannerisms and different techniques or whatever bullshit and still be successful if you've implemented the first lessons correctly.
Here's how to really cash in on this year. Number 1, get serious. Life is serious. And we're dealing with some serious matters here. We're not here to entertain. We're here to instruct, we're here to grow, we're here to learn, we're here to get the best we possibly can. Life is serious. The future's serious. How come such a difference from those who can reach such incredible heights and those who haven't yet found the answers for their life and their health and their future? It's serious whether you win or lose. It's serious whether you succeed or fail. Matters of income are serious. Matters of supporting your family, serious. Are you serious? Why? We got a serious matter here to discuss. And I want you to take on that serious tone. Take your own future serious. What you can do for your family, take it serious. To have the best year ever this year, don't miss the opportunity to learn. Take a good key phrase home, use it in your training. Don't be lazy in learning. Get smart. If you've had a bad week, just sit down and ponder that for a while. See if you can't pick up some ideas from a poor week and then make a better week. One way to learn to do it right is do it wrong. Now the key is don't let it take too long. If you've done it wrong for a year, we suggest that's long enough. Another year just to prove a point. No, 1 year's enough. This is called the possibility for life change starts with education. Don't be lazy in learning. Don't be lazy in learning from your own experience. Learning is the beginning of wealth. Learning is the beginning of life change. Just because you've listened to those Millionaire tapes one time is no sign you've got it. I'm asking you to listen to them over and over. I'm asking you to dedicate yourself to a new level of learning. Never let it be said you didn't learn. If you want to solve your problems, you got to learn. If you want to take advantage of an opportunity, you got to learn. To have your best year ever, make your dreams come true. Number 1 is get serious. Number 2, get smart. The same wind blows on us all. The difference in where we arrive at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year is not the wind that blows, but what's going to make the major difference? Each person's personal philosophy that sets a better sail, sets a better sail.
If your habits make you weak, kill them. If your friends drain your energy, walk away. Because nothing is more expensive than staying loyal to things that destroy your mind. And nothing is more dangerous than normalizing a slow death. That's what burnout really is. It's the slow death of a man who stopped listening to his soul. But here's the truth they'll never say on a podcast or in some soft therapy session. Your comeback doesn't require a retreat. It requires war. You want to fix your burnout? Stop treating yourself like a victim and start acting like a general. Audit your life like your future depends on it, because it does. Wake up earlier than the sun. Fill your mind with power, not poison. Sweat until your lungs scream. Read until your thoughts sharpen like blades. Take the pain you feel and turn it into strategy. Let the exhaustion fuel the blueprint for your evolution. Don't collapse under pressure, harden under it. Become unbreakable through it. And don't confuse peace with passivity. Peace isn't the absence of work, it's the presence of purpose. When your life aligns with your values, when your mission lights you up, you don't burn out. You ignite. You don't crave escape, you crave execution. The man with a reason doesn't need motivation. He doesn't need breaks. He doesn't need balance. He's lit from within, and the world feels that heat every time he walks into a room. And that's who you're meant to be. That's what's buried beneath the exhaustion, not a broken version of you, a forgotten version, a savage, a creator, a leader, a fire starter. So no, you don't need to slow down. You need to wake up. You don't need more sleep. You need more direction. You don't need a nap. You need a new life, one that matches the power you've hidden inside for too long. You are not here to cope. You are here to conquer. And burnout, that was never your enemy. It was the alarm clock screaming, "Get up! You're not done yet." There was a man I once knew, rich, powerful, physically carved like a statue, reputation sharp as steel, admired by everyone who glanced at his lifestyle. The cars, the money, the women, he had it all. Or so the world thought. But what they didn't see was the war inside his head. Behind the watches and cigars, behind the polished image and controlled voice, was a storm. A silent, chaotic storm ripping through every corner of his soul. Every morning he woke up feeling like a ghost inside a machine. Everything he had built now felt like a golden cage, and even though it glittered, it suffocated him every single day. He didn't understand it at first. He thought maybe he needed a break, a vacation, some self-care, so he flew to tropical islands, sat on private beaches, drank the finest liquor money could buy, and none of it worked. The silence was louder there. Because without the noise of the world to distract him, he had to sit with himself. And he didn't like what he saw. The man in the mirror wasn't tired from building an empire. He was tired from building the wrong one. He had climbed a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. And that kind of exhaustion, it's not cured by sleep. It's only cured by truth. The truth was brutal. He had spent years becoming who the world wanted him to be and abandoned the man he was supposed to become. He followed strategy without soul. He executed plans without purpose. Every goal checked off his list only reminded him how disconnected he had become from his own mission. That's the most dangerous kind of burnout. The one where you succeed in everything except feeling alive. His body was strong, his brand was global, but his heart was flickering out like the final seconds of a dying fire. And he was too proud to admit it. So what did he do? He disappeared, not physically, mentally. Emotionally, spiritually, he started pulling away, not from the world, but from himself. He became numb, empty, a shadow wearing a crown. He showed up to meetings with perfect posture and dead eyes. He laughed at jokes that didn't touch him. He trained in the gym like a machine, not because he loved it, but because it was the only place left where pain still felt real. And nobody noticed. That's how twisted this world is. They'll praise your discipline while you rot inside, because no one checks on the strong. No one asks if the king is okay, as long as the kingdom runs. But one night everything broke. Not because of a tragedy, not because of a betrayal, but because he finally hit the wall he'd been running from. He sat alone in his mansion, lights dim, silence thick like smoke, and he broke. Not loud, not messy, just a silent implosion. His mind folded in on itself. His body felt heavy, his breathing shallow. He didn't post quotes. He didn't vanish to a jungle retreat to find himself. He didn't call friends to complain. He did something stronger. He chose to return, not to the old version of himself, but to the warrior he buried under noise and numbers. He started from scratch, mentally, not financially. He rewired everything. No more yeses to pointless calls. No more pretending in rooms filled with fake praise. No more running from the pain. He faced it. He dissected it. He welcomed it. Because real power isn't found in comfort. It's reclaimed in the fire. That fire burned off everything fake in his life. The fake connections, the fake drive, the fake identity. What remained was him. And here's what most won't tell you. Burnout isn't weakness. It's a signal. It's your soul screaming through the fog, demanding that you return to your path. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels like collapse, but collapse isn't the end. It's the detonation you need to rebuild correctly. The problem isn't that you're exhausted. It's that you kept quiet for too long. You've silenced your intuition. You've ignored your calling. You've traded meaning for metrics. And that internal war, it's your reminder, a reminder that you are meant for more than just surviving. You are meant to awaken. The man I told you about, he's alive now, not just existing. Not chasing empty wins. He doesn't need applause. He doesn't care about optics. He built a new empire, not just outside, but inside. And his energy is untouchable. Because when a man burns down everything that no longer serves him, he walks through life with a clarity no system can break. That's what you need. Not a break. Not a weekend off, a full mental resurrection, a ruthless reinvention, a complete destruction of the version of you that's settled, compromised, and tolerated. There's no therapy that will fix a life you don't actually want. You have to rebuild it yourself. And you have to do it now. Because every second you spend in silence, every day you delay your alignment, every night you stare at the ceiling wondering what happened to me, is a second stolen by the old life trying to keep you chained. But deep inside you, there's a man waiting. The man who remembers. The man who's tired of pretending. The man who doesn't want naps. He wants revenge on mediocrity. And the second you unlock him, the burnout disappears. Because fire doesn't fatigue. It only grows hotter. Time isn't slipping away, it's sprinting, full speed while you hesitate at the starting line, hoping life will slow down for your comfort. It won't, it never has. And the sickest joke of all, most people don't realize it until the countdown has already hit 0. You think you've got years. You think you've got time to figure it out. You think one more day of drifting won't cost you. But while you're asleep at the wheel, someone else is building, moving, sharpening. The world doesn't pause for your overthinking. Opportunity doesn't knock forever. It walks past the door and never looks back. And the saddest part? You feel it. Not now, not today, but one day that regret will choke you in your sleep and it won't let go. There's a clock in your chest that doesn't tick in seconds. It ticks in choices. Every decision you postpone is a brick you place in your own prison. Every excuse you defend is another step away from the life that could have been yours. And when that realization slaps you across the face, it won't be gentle. It won't be poetic. It'll feel like drowning in a sea you poured yourself. Because nothing stings more than the agony of, I could have. And the most dangerous emotion on this planet isn't fear, it's regret. Fear you can fight. Regret you can only remember. People waste their prime pretending they're not ready. They convince themselves they need more knowledge, more preparation, more time. No, you need urgency. You need pain. You need to feel the weight of what you're risking by standing still. Every second you delay is a seed you never plant, a fight you never win, a life you never live. And one day, when you're older, slower, and life has wrung the energy from your bones, you'll look back on these moments, this very moment, and scream internally, why didn't I move when I still had fire in my lungs? The greatest pain isn't failure. It's realizing you never even stepped into the arena. You sat in the stands, watching others bleed, win, rise, fall, while you kept polishing the excuse that you weren't ready. You were always ready. You just chose safety over sovereignty. And now you carry a heavy heart, not because life was unfair, but because you never demanded more from yourself. This world doesn't owe you clarity. It rewards those who walk into the unknown swinging like demons. Most people think they're waiting for a sign, but the truth is they're avoiding the mirror. They don't want to they become passive participants in their own story. But you're hearing this now because deep down you know you're meant to wake the hell up. Fear isn't the enemy. Fear is the signal. If something scares you, it's probably the exact thing that will evolve you. Comfort is the cage. It's the padded room that whispers sweet lies until your potential suffocates in silence. You think staying comfortable protects you. It doesn't. It rots you from the inside. You lose your edge. You dull your instincts. You forget what it feels like to want something with every ounce of your being. And eventually you become like everyone else, smiling, scrolling, slowly decaying while pretending everything's fine. There's a reason you feel disconnected. It's not depression, it's suppression. You're not broken. You're buried. Your mind knows you are meant for chaos, conquest, momentum. You are not designed to be tamed. You were built for storms. But you've silenced your fire for so long, it's turned into smoke. That's why nothing excites you anymore. You've traded the warpath for a waiting room. And now you sit there, numb, anxious, overthinking, because deep down the beast inside is starving. And every time you settle, it screams. The world is moving with or without you. Doors are closing, people are passing you, spots are being filled, and the brutal truth is this: no one is going to pause the game so you can catch your breath. There are men right now who had nothing last year, and now they're running entire empires because they chose to move while others paused. That's how fast it changes. One decision, one shift, one moment of savage clarity, and suddenly you're no longer watching life, you're dominating it. This is your window, not tomorrow, not after your next breakdown, now, while your heart still beats, while your hands still function, while your mind still burns. Because there will come a day when your body can't catch up with your ambition. And on that day, you'll pray for just one more chance to go all in. Don't let that be your story. Don't let the flame flicker out just because it was easier to stay safe. Nothing about greatness is safe. It's war, it's pressure, it's risk. But the alternative? A quiet, comfortable life wrapped in invisible chains. And let me tell you something they'll never teach in school, never say on stage, never post in your feed. Discipline is the cure to fear. Action is the antidote to anxiety. Purpose is the only escape from burnout. You don't need more motivation. You need to go all in. You need to take the leap you've avoided. You need to put your back against the wall and fight like your life depends on it. Because it does. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is your one shot at becoming everything you were born to be. And if you waste it because you let fear win, you will carry that loss in silence for the rest of your days. So don't wait for the right moment. There is no perfect time. There is only now, right here, right in this very breath. The version of you that's tired, scared, burned out, it's not weak, it's dormant. You need to wake him up, shake him violently, drag him back to life with every ounce of power you've got left. Because if you don't, the clock will run out and the world will move on without ever knowing who you could have become. If you're still breathing, you haven't lost. If you've still got blood in your veins, you're not finished. But the problem is, you act like your story's over, like life already judged you and stamped you average. That's the disease, not poverty, not pain. It's the mindset that whispers it's too late, when in reality, you haven't even scratched the surface of who you're supposed to become. You weren't put here to tiptoe around life, hoping not to break anything. You were put here to set the damn standard. You were put here to make the world flinch when you move. But somewhere along the way, you started playing small, started shrinking, started talking soft and dreaming smaller. You got domesticated. And now you call it maturity. No, it's spiritual decay disguised as wisdom. You're not burnt out because you work hard. You're burnt out because your work has no meaning. You're not tired because life is hard. You're tired because you haven't done anything worth the exhaustion. You wake up, repeat routines you hate, talk to people who don't challenge you, chase goals that don't stretch you, and you wonder why your fire's dying? Wake up. The lion inside you isn't sleeping. He's suffocating. And every time you hit snooze on your potential, you dig the grave deeper. You don't need a break. You need a resurrection. There is a version of you that's built like iron, that doesn't fold under pressure, that doesn't need validation or applause. He doesn't care who's watching. He doesn't care who doubts him. He wakes up ready to outwork every name in the room because he's driven by something deeper than praise. He's driven by self-respect. And he's still there under the weight of your laziness, your distractions, your excuses. The real you hasn't got anywhere. He's waiting for the moment you finally say enough. And when that switch flips, when you stop trying to survive and decide to dominate, you become untouchable. The fear disappears, the anxiety vanishes, because nothing can touch a man who's chosen discipline over feelings. Most men are slaves to comfort. They chase dopamine like junkies. They scroll for hours, watch others win, and tell themselves stories about why it's not their time. But the few who win, they don't wait to feel ready. They don't pray for perfect conditions. They bleed forward. They use every ounce of pain, every piece of rejection, every failure like fuel. Because when you want it bad enough, pain stops being the enemy. It becomes the trigger. And don't mistake intensity for recklessness. This isn't about chaos. It's about clarity. When your mind is sharp, your mission is clear. You walk into rooms and they feel your presence before you speak. You move like a man with fire in his eyes. That's not something you learn. That's something you reclaim. Something you earn in silence, far away from the spotlight. While others party, you train. While others sleep, you build. While others talk, you execute. Because the difference between the successful and the stagnant is simple. The successful act while the stagnant imagine. I don't care where you came from. I don't care how many times you failed. I don't care what your bank balance says or what mistakes you've made. If you've got a pulse, you've got a purpose. And that purpose isn't to drift through life hoping things get easier. It's to carve your legacy with your bare hands. No matter how broken they are, you don't need comfort, you need consequences. You need to look in the mirror and realize every second you waste is a betrayal to the man you were born to be. You don't build confidence by whispering affirmations into a pillow. You build confidence by doing hard things over and over until you start believing you're the kind of man who can't be broken. You want self-belief, earn it. You want power, forge it. You want respect, show the world why it should never doubt you. Because life doesn't hand crowns to the kind or the polite or the comfortable. It hands crowns to the relentless, to the men who suffer for their greatness, to the ones who get knocked down and stand up with blood in their mouth and war in their soul. And don't expect people to understand you. Don't expect applause for your effort. They'll criticize your hunger because it reminds them of their apathy. They'll mock your ambition because it threatens their mediocrity. Let them talk. Let them sleep. You're on warpath mode now. You've been playing passive for too long. Go all in, not 70%, not when I'm motivated. Go all in when it's cold. Go all in when you're tired. Go all in when everything inside you screams to quit. Because that's when the transformation happens. That's when the weak version of you dies and the monster inside finally takes over. Don't walk around like you got time. You don't. Stop chasing balance, chase purpose. Stop looking for easy, look for impact. Because one day, all the chances you've taken, all the sacrifices you've made, all the sleepless nights and ignored distractions, they'll add up. And you'll look in the mirror and see a man who didn't run from the storm. A man who became the storm. This is it. This is where you decide who you are. Not in theory, not in dreams, but right now in this moment of silence where you've